home as we continue, of course, bringing you the very latest updates in relation to the Western as well as the Eastern Cape fires. The Western Cape is also dealing with several fires that have destroyed thousands of hectares of land, but luckily no loss of life, and fires are still being monitored in Mossel Bay in the Garden Route as well as the Elim in the Overberg region. Another wildfire is also burning high up in the mountains in the Keurbooms-Soetkraal area in Tsitsikamma, which borders the Western as well as Eastern Cape. Let's get the very latest now from our reporter Corbin August, who's joining us live from Elim. Corbin, a very good afternoon to you. So we understand parts of Mossel Bay, it's now just monitoring any future flare-ups in those particular areas. But we do understand Jeffreys Bay and other areas remain a concern. Talk to us about the Elim and as well as Overberg areas. How are they in terms of battling those fires? Good afternoon.
Well, yes, indeed. Good afternoon to you and to the viewers. As you indicated, the Western Cape has been battling several large wildfires over the last few days. And these fires have caused extensive damage, especially in areas here in the Overstrand municipality. And these areas include Stanford, Elim, as well as Pearly Beach. And earlier we were at Elim, where the fire caused some damage to infrastructure there and also resulted in poor water quality. And residents have now been aided by aid organization Gift of the Givers, who is providing water to affected residents there. The electricity also went out for a period of time. But from Elim, we are then moved in this direction where we are now. We are currently standing here in Stanford, here in the Overstrand municipality, where, as you can see behind me, firefighting efforts are still continuing. And there are still large teams that are battling blazes. The whole area is still engulfed in smoke, with large teams battling to bring these blazes under control and ultimately to extinguish them after fighting these fires for various days now already. But let me pause there, let me bring in the municipal manager here in the Overstrand municipality, Mr. Dean O'Neill, just to give us an update from their side and just to tell us more about the operation so far. Sir, thank you so much.
Thank you. To talk to us. Sure. So we're standing in Stanford at the moment. As you can see, there's a lot of smoke. It actually looks better now than it looked a bit earlier today. But the fire is still out of control. We have aerial resources. We have our teams on the fire lines fighting the fire actively at the moment. The roads that are closed, so Stanford, from Hermanus to Stanford, we closed at Hermanus. And then we also closed the road between Stanford and Gansbaai. That's the R43. And then the R326, the one that runs from here through to Van Brakelspoor. So that one's also closed at the moment. Currently, we have evacuated the people in the Kop informal settlement. They have all been taken to one of our community halls in Stanford itself. And currently, we're also busy with evacuation in Keurbooms-Soetkraal. That's the settlement in Pearly Beach. So the fire is still actively burning, as I've said earlier, and we're still not out of the woods, but our guys are actively fighting.
At this stage, is there any indication of how much damage, how much vegetation has been destroyed so far here in the area?
Well, with the Pearly Beach fire, the estimation is just over 30,000 hectares. And then because that's the same fire that burned through to Elim. And then in this area, I think we close on 4,000 hectares at the moment here.
And what sort of other assistance is being given to these affected residents, maybe here in Stanford and also in Pearly Beach?
Well, the only assistance that we can give if we evacuate, then obviously we need to bring disaster management in, and we need to then start assisting those people that we have relocated. Then we're keeping the people informed all the time. I mean, just on our Facebook page, we do presses like every 2-3 hours just to make sure that people are informed. In the Kop area specifically, we also went in with loudhailers just to get the people, make the people aware that they need to evacuate. And we also had to treat some of them for a bit of smoke inhalation and the eyes that were affected. But we have EMS and all the ambulances on site as well. And so if there are medical treatment needed, then they will be able to provide it. We've also just had a telephone call from the doctor that's the district that's in the district that's in charge of all the hospitals. So we are in contact with them as well. Should there be anything like an emergency, we will most probably open the road if it's safe and escort the people through that area. But yeah, that's about the extent of it. Yeah.
And at this stage, any indication if there was property damage here in the area or nearby areas, and just maybe that kind of any injuries also at the report?
No injuries from our firefighters. No injuries have been reported, and we don't have any injuries from the private citizens as well, except for maybe a little bit of smoke inhalation and that. On the property side, I am aware of 2 properties that was completely gutted in the Mossel Bay fire. None of them, well, you just came from Elim as well. There's minor damages there. And then in the Stanford fire, we didn't have any structures that were affected by the fire, because our strategy is always to protect the property and the people on the property. So once we see that the fire is going close towards the property, we will then assemble around the property, protect that until the fire has passed, and then move on.
And then going forward, maybe within the next couple of hours, the next few days, just what is the plan of action looking like just to finally extinguish these fires here in the area?
Yeah, well, that's a bit difficult to say because it depends on the weather, it depends on the wind. There has been some hot weather predicted for the weekend, tomorrow and Sunday specifically, and then the wind might slow down a bit tonight. But tomorrow we'll have most probably the same conditions as well. So depending on the weather, and if it persists like this, and with the resources that we have, it's very difficult to determine when we will actually be able to. Because you can see behind me, that fire was actively burning this morning. The flames were meters high, and now there's nothing. It's just smoke. But you just need one flare up again, and the wind to turn in a different direction, and then the fire starts all over again.
Well, we certainly wish you and your team and all of the firefighters who have been brave and coming out and battling these fires over the last few days, all of the best going forward, and I wish you strength and purpose. Okay. Well, that was the municipal manager of the Overstrand municipality, Dean O'Neill, just giving us that overview of the damage that's been caused so far in these various fires here in the area, and also just outlining some of the measures that they've taken just to assist affected residents. Of course, O'Neill has also indicated that an informal settlement, a decop here in Stanford, has also been evacuated, and those residents have been moved to a community hall in the area.